crowd loved it. There were people dancing on tables in the bar and stuff. It was really, really great. But then I played it on other nights, and those people just didn't have the patience for it. Hello, today I'm going to recommend my top 10 underrated or obscure disco songs. Right off the bat, I'm a huge disco fan. I wasn't always. I'm actually old enough that I grew up through it. I was quite young and I do remember it. At the time, I didn't really like it because it was my parents, mostly my mom's music. My dad liked country and rock mostly. Later, from hearing these songs over the years, it just got me to fall in love with it. And now I just love it, especially compared to pop music now. I've mentioned this in some other videos, but I used to DJ in South Korea, and I would DJ a mix of funk and disco music. During that time, I really dug deep into the genre. Because I was living abroad, there weren't a lot of people that wanted to hear what I was DJing. The expat community is quite small, so South Koreans, only knew the very popular songs like Stayin' Alive or YMCA or something. In the nights that I would DJ, there'd be 25, 30 people, so it was quite small. However, this crowd would repeat, so I had to come up with new stuff quite often. And through this research, I came across a lot of these songs, actually many songs. These are just the top 10 in my opinion, but there are many, many more. I will probably do a part 2 video to this at a later date. There are definitely more, and these are the deeper cuts. I probably have thousands of disco songs. And these are the ones that really speak to me. So let's get started. At number 10, we have the artist Dancefloor with the song Kiss Me Again. And this is the mix edit version. It comes from the single from 1978. I love this beat. It's almost sloppy and a little grungy. I don't mean grungy as in like grunge music. I just mean a little bit dirty. But like many disco songs, it has that kind of soulful vocal. If you like Gloria Gaynor or Donna Summer, you're gonna love this. On this single, there are 4 versions of the song, but I definitely think the mix edit version is the best. There is an epic 13-minute, 5-second version, which is quite long, and I do think it's interesting. Usually, when they have longer mixes, I actually like the longer ones better. This one, though, I think there's a lot of unnecessary stuff. Apparently the song Turn the Beat Around influenced this, and you can definitely hear it, I think. Fun fact, David Byrne plays guitar on this. He was a friend of the producer. It's a great track. At number 9, we have the artist Voyage in the song Souvenirs from Fly Away 1978. I love the way this starts. It's almost like a plane taking off. It builds and builds and builds. Then there's this kind of big change, and it reminds me a bit of ABBA, especially the song Gimme Gimme Gimme, A Man After Midnight. It is very similar to that, and I think that's the best ABBA song in my opinion. It's too famous to put on here, but I might do my favorite disco songs top 10 at some point, I'm not sure. One thing that is great about this song though is that it creates this nighttime skyline atmosphere, which I think a lot of great disco songs do. I think this should get more recognition, but anyway, it's a great song. At number 8, we have Diplo, Side Piece, and Purple Disco Machine. The song is On My Mind, and it's the Purple Disco Machine remix from Do You Dance 2021. So this is newer disco. It's not from the 70s or 80s. And I would say anything remixed by Purple Disco Machine is worth a listen. I'll put on the screen what the different artists are known for. If you like Daft Punk, this is perfect for you, I think. It's got the same funky, disjointed flow as Around the World. It's definitely danceable. I used to get a lot of reaction from this one when I would play it. I think younger people like it because it bridges house and disco music. And that's one thing I noticed while I was DJing is that there's something in the younger crowd's brain that connects with things that are MIDI controlled over analog playing. I don't know, some of the people were automatically like, oh, I don't like this because, people played it on instruments. And that to me was kind of a shocker, actually. I think the bass on here is amazing. The vocals are great. They're kind of sing-songy. I don't know, it can go both ways. If you're looking for the analog sound, maybe you won't like this. One thing I love about it is the squeaking noise that's kind of like a rocking chair or something. It's just really great. great. At number 7, we have the band Instant Funk. I Got My Mind Made Up, You Can Get It Girl from Instant Funk from 1973. This leans into funk music, but I definitely think it is early disco. I love the swagger here and the driving beat and bass. This almost sounds recorded live, and I think there's a charm and energy to that. Although I also think because it was recorded that way that there is a little bit of suffering in the production, especially if you sandwich it in between two newer songs. You can definitely hear it. There is a longer 10-minute version, a dance mix. Like number 10 on this list, I think the single version is better. It's a lot tighter, but you will see that I also like the long versions. At number 6, we have Sister Sledge. He's the Greatest Dancer from We Are Family from 1979. This is probably the most famous song on here, although it is still not their biggest hit. That would be We Are Family. That's their signature song. I'm a huge Chic fan. If I made a favorite disco list, Chic would definitely be on there. Nile Rodgers and Bernard Edwards shaped this, and you can tell. And I don't think this song gets enough love. I also think Nile Rodgers doesn't really get enough credit either. He's gotten a lot of accolades from the music industry. I kind of think that people don't realize how much his guitar style shaped an entire genre, which you can hear on this track. At number 5, we have Glass Candy, Life After Sundown from Beatbox from 2007. This is another newer disco song, although their album actually leans more into synth pop, but this one leans Italo disco. It's darker, sexier, feels like vampires and hipsters at the nightclub. I love the vibes that it evokes. I talk more about them in their own video you can check out here, but I think this song really hits my preference for disco. I don't really like the flashy stuff that much. I seem to lean toward the more atmospheric, spacey, longer tracks, something with a little more creativity in there. And I think the next 4 songs on this list actually lean more into that. At number 4, we have CJ and Company, Devil's Gun from USA Disco 1977. This is heavy and relentless. It's got this hypnotic groove. It has a dark, almost menacing tone to it. I love the silly vocals. I'm just a sucker for that kind of thing. This would be really great if you're throwing a Halloween party. I think it definitely fits that atmosphere. I also love how it builds. This was in the 1977 film Saturday Night Fever, although it was not on the soundtrack LP. You can hear it in the background, but I think it's very singable. The melody kind of worms its way into your brain. I prefer the album version on this one, but there are many other mixes. I would check them out if you have time. At number 3, we have Santa Esmeralda with Leroy Gomez. Don't Let Me Be Misunderstood, the Esmeralda Suite, the LP mix from Don't Let Me Be Misunderstood, the Esmeralda Suite, 1977. So I think the 16-minute version is the definitive one. I love it. It is so epic. This might be the most epic disco song of all time. It's like the Inagata de Vida of disco or something. There are many other cool versions of this though. Each one plays up the percussion in a different way, which I find very creative. I love where this song goes, which is just about everywhere. And it's also a great cover. The original was recorded by Nina Simone in 1964, later covered by the Animals. If you are a percussionist, you're gonna love this. Quentin Tarantino used it in his climax of Kill Bill Volume 1, but he only used a small sliver of it. But the whole song is worth the journey. But it's a strange track if you're a DJ, because if you start playing it, you kind of have to commit. One time I played the 9-minute version of this, which is still pretty long for a dance party, and it was just great. Like, the crowd loved it. There were people dancing on tables in the bar and stuff. It was really, really great. But then I played it on other nights, and those people just didn't have the patience for it. I never dared to play the 16-minute version because I knew, that's just too long. However, if I'm at home and I'm just, want to put on some disco, I go to this for sure. It is awesome. At number 2, we have Black Devil Disco Club, H Friend from Black Devil Disco Club, originally recorded in 1978 but released in 2006. This is one of the coolest songs I've ever heard. It is just awesome. It's dark, mysterious, quite weird, but it's just so cool. I love the strange percussion and these kind of synth noises that are also a bit percussive. If you like Daft Punk, this is kind of like them, but a lot weirder and a lot crazier. The twisted vocals are alien and kind of nocturnal sounding. They remind me of when Marty dressed like the alien in Back to the Future. It's almost like a bad acid trip, but it sounds really great in a club in a good sound system like that. It's French. It's the brainchild of Bernard Fevre, but it was forgotten for many years till Aphex Twin. His Reflex Records rediscovered this and released it. The track No Regrets on this same release is also awesome and weird. I could see this in a movie. It would have to be a pretty strange movie, but I could definitely see it. It would certainly work. At number 1, we have Saran, Supernature from 3 Supernature 1977. This is another darker track, great for Halloween parties, and I think this just edges out Black Devil Disco Club by just a little. I chose this partly because of the reverence for it in the disco scene. This is considered a legendary track. I prefer the 9-minute 45-second version, but I think this is the perfect track. It really is. It's not as weird as number 2 on this list, but it's still dark and extremely danceable. Marc Serran is another French disco producer, and if I really think about it, I probably prefer Euro disco more than American disco. I'm just gonna say it. The heavy drums, sweeping strings, there's hypnotic synths, all of it is just great. Supernature is a concept album blending disco with sci-fi, and there are some ecological themes going on. I think you can really feel the concept in the song. It's like space disco. If you like Giorgio Moroder, you will definitely like this. And again, there are many mixes of this song. I love the change at 6 minutes in when the guitar comes in and the backing vocals just get wispy and spooky. It's so good. The last 3 minutes are just so cool. This is a perfect song in my opinion. But that's all I got for this one. I'm definitely gonna do a second edition of this. And like I said, I have toyed with the idea of doing, a top 10 best disco songs. The problem with it is that there are so many songs. I'm not really sure how to decide that. But you can comment below and let me know if that's something you want to see, and I'll see if I can tackle it somehow. I might have to do it as a series of 4 or 5 videos. I don't know. There are so many songs. Anyway, that's all I got. If you have anything to say about any of these tracks, you can put that below, but that's it. Take care. Have a good day.